It's metal for the masses. It's the only place that plays it harder, faster, and louder than anybody else on live365.com. I am joined this time once again, but for realsies this time, we can finally talk about their new album. It's the Obsidian Resurrection.
Number
Yeah,
3 or 4.
right. However many times this has been in a span of a couple years that we can actually talk about this.
Yeah.
I I I feel like this has been like a Marvel Cinematic Universe build up
Right.
to this thing, and it's
A pre
definitely
a prequel, 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 pretelling.
and it's been even longer for you guys because now like you guys are out here, you can finally talk about this shit. But introduce yourselves. Although we've seen you before, just remind the beautiful people out there who you are and what you do in the band.
My name is Josh. I play bass, and if I'm not mistaken, is this personally my sixth time on your show?
It feels like something like that. I am imagine so. We can
Does
go
that
back
mean
and we can go back and count.
does that mean I now have the record?
Uh, you might actually.
Okay, hold on. I got something because now I am the king of your podcast. Oh, you can't see it on my background. I have a
I
crown,
can't. There you
one of those
go.
Burger King crowns, but you can't see it.
Oh man, yeah, it just looks like you're
My
even.
head's gone.
It just looks
It
like you took your hat off and it took the rest of your head with it.
it's too shiny.
You're not bald. You're just not drawn in.
Well, there goes that little trolling joke. It's supposed to be a Burger King crown. But yeah, I am now the master of your podcast. But anyways, I play bass for the Obsidian Resurrection.
And my name is Danny, and I play keyboards and synthesizers for the Obsidian Resurrection.
Hell yeah. And Danny, we were just talking about it while we were waiting for Josh to figure out the wonders of technology. But so I was just talking about everything that you did here on this album. And by the way, we haven't even said the name of the album yet. Uh, the name of the album is As Darkness Falls. 8 tracks on it, absolutely from start to finish. Wonderful stuff. My favorite track is track number 7, Born from Tyranny. But we'll go through it and we'll talk about everything. But I was talking to Danny in the beginning of this, and I I really love all the instrumentation that you did. You know, all the years of build up to this stuff, man. It's fantastic job. You definitely should be proud. You know, even you, Josh. You know, you should feel very proud about it. You guys definitely, I hope, already do feel proud about it. But this is some quality stuff, man. I really did enjoy this album. To finally hear the finished product and get to watch a couple of the other interviews that you guys have been in talking about this stuff, watching the social media, watching the positive feedback that you guys have gotten. You know, it's definitely you know, makes me happy for you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
thank you. It's been a journey to say the least, and
right.
I'm pretty happy with the result of the album as a whole. The production, Carlos did a pretty fantastic job with putting everything together for us and laying down guitar tracks for us as well. Just everything just sounds. I couldn't ask for anything more really from it. So I am glad it's done. I'm glad we were able to put the music out there. I didn't think it was going to happen for the longest time. And well, here it is. It's out there.
Hell
Right.
yeah, it's out there. Another 25 years before the next one, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be the senior citizens
You think
retirement tour.
you think Tool is bad about their albums being widely apart? And they not nothing on us.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what? I think that deserves a crown. Josh, put it back on. Just
You
leave the
know what? Let me
Josh,
see.
leave the crown on. Just put it over the hat. Leave it on.
There it is.
All
See, now
right.
it's just weird.
See, we can't see it, but don't take it off. Just leave it on.
Just
You
leave it
know,
on, man.
for
Just leave it on.
everybody that'll be watching this on YouTube, you know,
Oh, it broke.
it's there. And he broke it.
Oh, I know. It just came apart.
All right. Well, I was just gonna say, just leave it on. You know, First, you're the king of multiple reappearances here on Metal for the Masses. You know, I feel like you just live here. Do you just want to co-sign? Is this? Do you just want to do that?
I'm the creature in your basement.
That's it. The best part is I don't have a basement. This is a rancher.
Nice.
Hmm.
Let me see. I can probably fix it. Take off my background.
Oh, don't do it. Let's not do
Don't do
that.
it.
We already spent. So for everybody that doesn't know, we spent probably, this was supposed to start 15 minutes ago. We spent probably at least 7 or 8 minutes for
You
Josh
know what?
to figure out the wonders of technology.
I take full responsibility, forgetting that I had the camera going with another app.
Oh man. But yeah, no. King of multiple appearances and king of how long it takes to actually put an album out. But I'm all joking aside, man. Like, this is awesome shit. And I'm glad we can finally talk about it. So
Yeah, for
let's
sure.
finally fucking talk about this shit, dude.
Let's get into it. Yeah. Ask away.
So
What you want to know? We
uh
can say it all now.
well
Finally.
I was talking to Danny about the album artwork, so I guess we can, like, before the show we were talking about the album artwork. So I mean, like, we can start there because before we even get into music, I mean, like, one of the very first things that, you know, makes an album is the album artwork. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
That was our drummer. It's his dad. His name is Ed Boston. He's a fantastic artist. Not you heard me talk about him on previous podcasts because I'm the king of your show. And from all the different podcasts I've been doing, people keep asking if there's a theme because that same hooded cloaked figure keeps popping up throughout the whole thing. I don't really know if there's a theme, but it sure is coincidental, it's just a character that his dad kind of just picked up on when we were asking him, telling him how to do the cover, and I think he just kind of rolled with it, especially for I think it was for Danny's ideas for Rise of the Fallen, which somehow became As Darkness Falls single cover artwork. I think it's just because we ran out of artwork to use.
Well, yeah. So the artwork itself, the cover, is kind of a combination of two pieces of art that I found online that I wanted combined. So that idea, I think those images was brought to Alex's dad's, like, this is kind of what we want, combine these. Here's the idea behind it, blah blah blah, and
Oh,
that's
you're
what he
talking
came
about
up
those
with.
pictures you showed me, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot all about those. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's where the album cover came from, and then the the creature that you see, whatever he is, uh, it, it's kind of it's kind of an inspiration for the lyrics behind Rise of the Fallen. Because originally that song was supposed to be instrumental. We decided it should have lyrics, there should be vocals in it, which I thought is actually a good idea. I'm glad we did that. And so
It turned out good, yeah.
yeah, so the theme behind the song um, was a culmination of um, a little bit of Tolkienish, if you will, but it's more of another series of books. I know we're not talking about the song right now, but I'm trying to connect that with other pieces of the album. But anyways, we can get into that later. But yeah, that's how the album art came to be. And then this is, the final product. I love the colors. I think
Yeah.
that's the most attractive part
Well,
about
I mean,
his
like,
his art.
it catches the eye because it's like, as
Yeah,
you're saying, I mean, like, the big swirling clouds up above with
yeah,
the light shining through the wings of this figure who could be angelic, could be malevolent. We don't
right.
know. The album is called As Darkness Falls. We what do we know about this creature? We have no idea. This man or whatever he is getting blinded by this holy light that is shining uh, kind of like shining past the outline of this creature. I mean, like all the colors, everything, just it
Right.
pops. And
Yeah.
something else that I really do enjoy about this is the titles are all legible. It doesn't have that like black metal
Yeah.
stick, like
Yeah, I'm not a
bundle of
fan of that.
sticks, font. I I wish that that was like a font on like Microsoft Word, because I would totally write a book in like black metal. It'd be the most illegible book. Only a select few people would be.
Talking about a mad case of diarrhea. What's this say?
What is this? Like, I really wish, like, as a joke, that it was a font. Like, even for like my phone, just to text. Like, I would text certain people in that. I just wish it was a gag. But no, going back, being serious. I mean, like, he nailed everything about this album artwork, because things that are going to get people to, at least people like me, uh, your album artwork really is like the first thing people see, you know? If an album artwork just does not do anything for me, I'm probably not going to take a look at the band, unless like the name sounds interesting. Like, let me check it out. Like they're I don't know, like it can kind of go in either directions. You can have a very simplistic album artwork, but if it's interesting enough, like, yeah, you can check it out. But even if you have like the most complicated, the most colors, everything, if it hurts the eyes, if it's just weird, you kind of get turned off, and you're like, maybe later, and that later date never comes. But like finding that perfect middle ground, that sweet spot, I think that, I think it's been found here. And Danny,
It's
before the show, you had even said, like, if you guys ever did do, something else, I don't, you were saying you don't think that the album artwork could get any better than this.
Yeah, I just, unless we happen upon someone who does his art this, the same process as Ed does or whatever, but it's just, it
So
might be just a,
what if the AI programs learned? What if they got better?
yeah, no.
No. Good
No,
man.
I'd rather have someone like hand draw something or whatever, like really good, but hand draw or whatever, or paint or whatever, and then transfer that to a CD book or whatever. I think there's something to someone actually drawing by hand or painting by hand that I don't know. It's just it
It's
feels
it's talent.
authentic.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
authentic is definitely the key word there. It's authentic, it's real, it's human. A human drew it,
yeah,
knowing that a human did that, it is real. That it has soul, it has feeling. Because that's like
yeah,
another like, even if like AI could make the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, AI could make, you know, a the most beautiful masterpiece anybody has ever seen, but deep down it wasn't made by a human being, so it does not have soul, because a machine does
right,
not have a soul. It is lacking. A machine
right,
cannot be artistic. Like, no matter how anybody tries to spin it, it's a tool created by man, but the tool does not have soul. The one with the
right,
soul, the one with the vision, the one with the artistic skill is man or woman, whoever's doing it. In the musical world, or in the artistic realm, we do not discriminate. But yeah, that's definitely something that going forward in the future is going to be a very blurred line
hmm,
with how people do any kind of quote unquote art.
right,
Is it
yeah.
going to be judged the same? Is it going to stand the test of time? Like, how's it going to be? Who knows? But getting on, actually digging through the surface of this now. Now we can actually get to the tracks. Uh, 8 tracks, gentlemen. Apocalyptic Prologue, Prophecy's Will, As Darkness Falls, Forever's End, Rise of the Fallen, Edge of Sanity, Born from Tyranny, my favorite track, and Unholy Retribution. So honestly, since we can finally talk about all these tracks and everything that went into it and the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shebang, everything, let's talk about it. You tell me, fill me and everybody else in, all the work, the years of on and off dedication that you guys had to this. This is your baby, so let everybody know.
Yeah. Well, it's basically like everyone always asks us what's the theme of this album, and honestly, it's really just about the death and destruction, basically, and encapsulates how we are also our own demise in a sense. Like we never learn from our own mistakes. So this album kind of has that overall theme of where even if there's a glimmer of hope, we're always bound to screw things up. That's kind of what thematically this album lyrically can represent to people. And musically, I mean, I would say honestly that I think even Danny would agree musically how we did this music for this entire album, since we all love thrash metal, we all love death metal, we all love black metal, we all even love progressive metal, we love it all. We kind of pick and choose and we draw from our inspirations and we kind of bring it all together, so to speak. And if we're writing music that we really truly enjoy and we want to play because we want to enjoy what we're playing, if it sucks, we're not going to show it to anyone else. So we make music drawn from our own personal inspirations. And then I always tell people like Danny comes in with a cherry on the top and just puts his orchestration to it. And it's like he makes it into a film score. So I think, I think honestly, a lot of people, they're kind of, I'm not going to say a lot of people, some people are kind of standoffish for album intros, like Apocalyptic Prologue, this is our album intro. It's all orchestrations, all Danny. But I think that song kind of really sets the stage for the feel and the vibe of this whole album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Um, and I guess if you want to go song by song, we can start with the instrumental.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah,
Let's hear it.
that was so the foundation of that was written a long time ago. Back when we first were together. Um, it didn't really progress that much further just because it was meant to go on a full length album, but obviously that didn't happen then, so it just kind of stayed put, unfinished. And then when we got back together, that was actually one of the first things I decided to tackle was that instrumental. So I, went back and, you know, recorded what I knew or what I had. And then I started adding more things to it, making slight changes here and there to make it more fuller, to make it more complete, because it wasn't going in. It wasn't. So, and with it came along came little minor changes here and there, but it's pretty much relatively the same as it was, just with a lot of extras, and it feels complete now. So, I'm happy with it. I know the guys are happy with it too, and yeah, and it was meant to go right in. The original idea was for it to go into Edge of Sanity. That was
Yeah.
the original plan, because it would end and then the drums would start with Edge of Sanity, right? But we had a change of mind, and then we decided to put Prophecy's Will in there after we made the changes to the beginning of that. So all in all, it worked. It sounds better, and it worked out the way we planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a big thing that I love, like how Josh, you were saying like some people are like against like album intros and some people just don't like that kind of like melodic stuff. They just want to get right into it. Um, I'm one of those people that loves that kind of stuff. I mean, like one of my favorite genres is melodic black, and I love it because it's like you still get everything that you love about black metal, but you just get melodic. That's like something you don't get wall of sound. You get to actually hear, you know, I mean, like even black metal artists are still musicians, but it's just like you get to hear musicians kind of incorporate a lot of different instruments that you wouldn't know would sound good doing this kind of music. Um, like I
And
remember
you
being
get more emotion out of it too.
absolutely
Yeah.
like I remember being at a concert last year when I was gonna go see this band that I love, and one of the openers, I mean, like they brought out fucking a fucking saxophone, and I was like, what the like this is an odd take, but it worked, you know? I mean, I really feel like a lot of things that people like kind of it leads to more creativity. You know,
Yeah.
you're not confined to just this little space. It opens up a door. It makes, you know, makes it so much broader. You're open to so much more levels of creativity. And, you know, even having like an instrumental intro. I mean, like without Danny's ability to do this kind of stuff for you guys. I mean, like I don't each one of you is a very intricate part to how your band operates. And without the instrumental part, without these different sounds, you know, like Josh, you say it's the cherry on top. I wholeheartedly agree with you. You know what I mean?
Well, there were
It's
times where some of these songs we were stuck, even when we were rewriting them, when we reformed. Danny would come up with ideas based off of our other riffs. And since
yeah.
he's got a whole other atmosphere to work with, it really helped sometimes. When we were stuck, Danny would come and like, hey, let's try this. And most of the times it worked, you know?
Yep. Like you guys are planet Earth and he's the asteroid that came and killed the dinosaurs.
Something,
Except
yeah.
it's he came down with his Yamaha and
Korg.
Korg, yes.
Korg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mighty Korg.
Yeah.
That even sounds metal. Korg.
Korg.
Korg. Sounds like an
Norwegian.
alien sounds like something they discovered in Star Trek.
Right.
But
Like a cousin of the Borg.
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
It's their cousins down south.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to keep this train a rolling, the next one would be Prophecy's Will. That one, man, that one, that one is that one's interesting because I remember. So Dimitri called me up one time and I got off work and see, I was a year older than them. They were still in their senior year. I had graduated a year before. So I was working, but Danny was working while going to school, if I remember correctly. But Dimitri, yeah, Dimitri was working also, but we both got off work and he called me and me to come to his aunt and uncle's house. That's where he was living at the time because he had some ideas. He's like, dude, need to hear some bass lines to what I'm playing, you know? So I didn't have a car at the time, so I walked carrying my bass all the way down this busy ass 6-lane or 4-lane road, all the way down to his house, his aunt and uncle's house, and in their garage.
I don't mean to cut you off. You're just like, I lugged this bass guitar. I'm like, oh God, how
Yeah.
heavy was it? How much of a struggle? My God.
No,
Like,
it's just at that time it was a rundown bass I got from a pawn shop. I didn't have a case for it, so I'm just walking carrying it by the neck, you know? And but anyways, I got to his aunt and uncle's house, and he was jamming out this really groovy, thick riffs. And we both were listening to a lot of Morbid Angel at the time, but I was also listening to a lot of White Zombie at the time as well. So he was stuck. You know, he had writer's block musically, and he was like he needed my help. And so I stepped in and I added some groove to what he was playing, and we ultimately wrote this entire song in a matter of a couple hours that same night, and we had Prophecy's Will right then and there. And what we played in the garage is pretty much exactly what you hear on the old Enslaved by Nightmares demo. Nothing changed because we were done that night. I just needed lyrics. And that was the song where from the lyrics was born. So it's kind of like a band thing when it's nothing official, but the Beast of Prophecy was born, like this character that was kind of like the caricature of the song Prophecy's Will. And now, when you go from the demo version to the album, it's literally the same song. It's just it feels sped up, but it's mostly the tempo of the drums. They're different, and it's more. Actually, it is sped up because I was listening to the demo earlier, and it is sped up. We do play it faster on the album, but like the only thing that's changed really, aside from the speed and the tempo, is the beginning is now the ending on the album. That's it. It's the same damn song. It's just better.
Gotcha. It's just better.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so. Was this the one that we had the listening party
Your
to
first ever listening party?
that went exactly as foreseen, where it
Yeah.
stopped midway through?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
Danny, you weren't there for that one. We had the song, we played it for the first time
I
on
watched it.
on here. Oh, I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you got to watch this
Yeah, the
Train wreck.
technological
solo.
failure.
The
Train
solo
wreck.
at the end was cut.
Mm-hmm.
It started and then it cut.
That was and I didn't say anything. I was like, you know what? Because I thought I thought it was one of those tracks where it's just gonna hard jump into the next one. And I was like, okay, I guess it's just supposed to do this. I'm not going to ask Josh anything because to me, I've heard songs that do that. I'm like, all right, this is what we're jamming to tonight. Everything's normal.
Yeah.
And we go to do it. I'm like, hell yeah, man, that was awesome. He's like, what do you mean? There was
Where's the
like,
rest of the song?
where's the rest of it? I'm like, there's more to this song.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 more riffs. So the song was up that file I sent you. It works for everyone else. I don't know.
I mean, you sent it back to me again and it worked, but it was so funny because I was so like convinced that it was just going to be like a jump cut to the next track that, hey, this is where it ends. And I'm like, okay, nothing wrong here. Everything's normal.
Mhm.
I trust these
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Well, now people can hear the full damn version.
Hell yeah. Um, moving on from Prophecy's Will, I mean, like we still got fucking God,
6 more songs.
six more tracks on here. We got As Darkness Falls, Forever's
Grab
End.
your drinks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, break them out. If you got an unopened bottle, now's the fucking time. We're gonna be here a while. As Darkness Falls, the self-titled track for the entire album. So
This one, I'm glad Danny's here. Wasn't this the song that originally was just a jam for us for a while because we didn't know what to do with it? Wasn't it this song? And we called it Written in Blood. Is that the song?
I don't remember how it started, but I know it's one of the songs we played live when we did play live.
We eventually played it live, yeah, because we eventually made a song out of it.
Yeah, we played it live. The keyboards were a little different on it then as it was now. There wasn't nearly as much as there is now. Like the beginning, everything from then is still in it, but then there's a lot more incorporated now. There's a lot more layers, especially the beginning part. It's just there's just a lot more orchestration involved in it now. And then the keys afterwards are actually a little bit different than what they used to be. And then there's some parts that didn't have keys back then that have keys now. So it's definitely, from my my perspective, it's different from my end, drastically. And like if we had a demo version of it versus what it is now, it's pretty different. But it's definitely one of the songs we played live. It was the last song we made that we did play live because Born from Tyranny, which is under a different song title, Rise of the Fallen, those we never played live.
We played Born from Tyranny once. Was
I think maybe near the end we did. I
our
didn't
last
have,
show.
yeah, I didn't have the keys on there. Like I hardly had anything for that song. But but yeah, going back to Written in Blood, or I'm sorry, it's Darkness Falls.
Yeah, it used to be called Written in Blood.
Yeah, but I don't know, like I don't know what's changed from now to then as far as like guitars or bass is concerned. I don't. Is it still the same?
The
You
only thing
know?
that's new is, see, back then we didn't really know how to end it. That's why I was nervous playing it live because we never cemented the ending, you know? So first of all,
Okay,
it was kind of a slower song because most of our songs are fast as hell. And so I
right,
was nervous about how the fans would react to it, but honestly, it was a massive pit the first time we played it. But I was concerned about how we were going to end it because I remember that day we were going over the ending, and I was hoping we'd all remember it. Thankfully, we did, but there's really no concrete ending. So, because Dimitri in our little Facebook band room group chat, he came up with the ending to it.
right,
So that's the only
yeah,
thing
and,
that's new.
So what we're
and the,
saying is before Dimitri, finally was like, here it is, guys. What you're saying is you could never finish.
Pretty much, we didn't know how to end it
yeah,
because we never finished it back then.
right,
That's how a
right,
couple of these songs were. We never finished Written in Blood or As Darkness Falls. We never finished Born from Tyranny, which used to be called This Day to Be My Last. And we never finished Rise of the Fallen. So those three songs we never really finished until we reformed in 2020.
right, right.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And yeah, so like 2020 was when, was when we first, I want to say when we first sat down. It might have even been
it was
2021.
2020.
It was 2020.
Yeah,
I think.
Jesus Christ, guys. It's been 5 fucking years, dudes. And now we're
it's a,
finally talking about this.
I
yeah.
know, I
This
know.
has been a never ending this has been the never ending story.
It's
Yeah,
now our time.
It's the arc
Yeah.
of it's like when Metal for the Masses started, when Metal for the Masses ended. The Obsidian Resurrection came
Are
out
you
with the
quitting after this episode?
I mean, I might. The arc is over. Now, what other band do I have now to follow? Uh
Wait, did you start in 2020?
I started this 2019. So
Oh,
I
okay.
I had graduated college and this show was literally just this was my radio show on my college radio station. And I would do this from like 12 to no, not 12 to 2. I would do this from 11 to 1, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then after my area started getting, well, my area had always been a little not safe at night. But it was the girls at the radio station that started not feeling safe. So they moved all the hours back. And then I was like 10 to midnight. But when I graduated in 2019, they were like, yeah, we're getting rid of the hard rock and metal from our station. So you can just have this, you can have the name and everything and just take it. And
Hmm.
2019, I moved everything over to this. And I was like, well, I mean, I can just do whatever I want with this now. I'm not regulated by the FCC. I
Yeah.
can talk freely. I can do whatever. The world's my oyster, but this show's not about me. But yeah, starting 2020, met you guys on no, started 2019, met you guys in 2020, and it's just been going from there. It's
Yeah.
been an awesome journey. I talk about it. I talked about it Tuesday, just how fucking wild it's been that it's already 2025. It just feels like I blinked and I'm here.
Yep.
Uh
Yeah.
it's it's insane. But even for you guys, I mean, like going back in time to like when all of this stuff was like in its, I would say in its infancy to now. I mean, like I'm sure for the longest time, you guys have said it. You never thought you'd get to this fucking point. You never like that everybody was too busy or they had shit going on in their lives or somebody moved far away or whatever the case may have been. It
It's been a journey, dude. It really has been. I mean, if you're so we can even go back to continue excuse me, to continue what we're talking about. the whole aspect of moving forward in the journey, because like even the next song, I can actually tie it into moving the conversation forward. Is the next song Forever's End? We wrote the original version in our friend Mike, who was also one of the original guitarists, because there's Dimitri on guitars and vocals and Mike on guitars, lead guitars. We wrote the original Forever's End, and I want to say the original Edge of Sanity in Mike's bedroom. Isn't that right, Danny?
I don't remember how Edge of Sanity came about. I know,
It was Forever's End for sure, right?
um, I don't even remember, man. I don't
I
remember
just
how you
remember
guys wrote it.
I want to say it was Forever's End because Dimitri came in with that binder paper and he didn't have a title for it. We eventually called it Forever's End, but he had that and it was, I want to say it was Forever's End, and we didn't have a vocalist at the time, and Justin was standing outside Mike's window. Justin eventually became our vocalist, and but he was standing outside Mike's window, kind of just screaming and growling, trying to get a groove to it. And it was just really interesting in our friend's bedroom at his mom's house writing this song. So it's like there's a lot of that old history. Like every band has their old history, but this is ours. We're redoing this
Is
in
it is it all of your history, or is it just the one that you seem to remember? Because it's
well,
that
this
whole
that's the
conversation
thing.
was, Danny, wasn't it this? I don't know,
That's
man.
the
I think it
weird
was.
Wow.
thing. That's the weird thing about it is since it was such a fast moment of our lives back then that we never finished. A lot of it is us trying to remember how things went down.
Mm-mm.
It's because a lot of things and time has happened since then. But I want to say Forever's End started off in our friend Mike's bedroom.
It probably did. Same thing with Edge of Sanity. Um, but I don't. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you how it came to be. I just remember either jamming in Dimitri's garage and you guys playing it or whatever, and I think that's how I remember the beginnings of it. So
Yeah.
And that's just like, for it to be that long ago, man. I mean, like, there's times where I have like those weird, like, existential, like, oh God, like, how long has it been? Like, since, like,
Mhm.
one of those kinds of moments. But
Yeah,
like, for that, I would be like, what? How long? Did it at like 20, 25?
yeah. Well, Dimitri and I were I think we were sophomores in high school, man. So it
Oh,
was 2000. It was 2000 because
yeah.
that's when we met. We became friends, and then like sometime that summer or fall,
Yeah, because
I,
I graduated in '99.
yeah, that summer I think is when we kind of started
I was
started
6
everything
years
up.
old.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
that's wild, man.
That dog, I was born in 93. I was like, yeah, it's like I
Oh,
graduated in 99. I'm like, I was 6 years old.
damn. I am grandpa. Time to get some beard dye over here.
Time to get it
Yeah,
going, dude. Holy fuck. But yeah, that touch of gray ain't working out for you, dude.
Well, the whole 25 years, I mean, it hypothetically is because the rise of the phone started when Mike and I were in high school. That was our guitar class finals exam. And you've heard me tell that story on your past podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back when we were still in high school, and I graduated, I guess, 2 years before Danny and Dimitri. So yeah, that song is more than likely probably about 25 years in the making for that
yeah,
one song.
It's it just leads me back to just like thinking it's like we get to be like such old men and we just kind of just like we sit back, we reminisce, we see what we've accomplished. And like for you guys to like have this as a yeah, we fucking did it. You know what I mean? Like that's like even if you guys never put out another record, even if you guys never put out another track, this has been your Mount Everest. You know
It's
what
an
I mean?
yeah,
achievement. It's an
Yeah.
achievement for
This has
sure.
been
yep,
it. You don't have to die with regret. You don't have to, I mean, like if you do, I mean, this won't be one of them.
right.
Uh you can be like, we finally, we took our time, We made it work. We did everything that we needed to do, and we got it out there. You know, like it's not going to make you millionaires. I hope it makes you guys millionaires. I hope you're like, from album sales and,
I would just
merch
like to make my
sales.
money
And
back.
yeah, that'd be wonderful. But, just to have it out there, have it finally out there in circulation for people to hear and for assholes like me to just sit here and play it on their, online radio stations. Uh, it's an achievement, man. Like, congratulations. Like, you guys definitely I'm proud of you for whatever that's fucking worth. And you guys really should be proud of yourselves. Like that's really something that I feel needs to be said. But, you know,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh kind of leading into Forever's End here. Track number 4. This kind of is your Forever's End, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. It is our forever end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one where I think it was written in Mike's mom's his bedroom when he's living with his mom still. He was a guitarist that was also originally with us because he helped us with when he was in the band. It was Edge of Sandy, is what he contributed. Rise of the Fallen is what he contributed, and a ballad that we don't play. And I don't think it even fit on this album. It'd stick out like a sore thumb because it's a ballad, because he was more into like traditional metal, power metal, stuff like that. So, we started getting heavier, and he was like, all right, guys, you guys are going a direction I don't want to go in. But he left us with those songs. He said we can do with them whatever we wanted. So we kept them, completely changed them. Um, Forever's End was Dimitri's baby. Like, I guess he had that song already written because he was in a band down in Arizona, and that was the song he wrote when he was with that band, from what I remember him telling me. And he took it from Arizona up here, and he showed it to us that night, and we started just working on it. And it didn't have a title back then. He had lyrics right now already. It was some weird love poem, like it was very angsty, very emo. So I'm glad he changed it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the original lyrics were that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. It was really kind of odd, but now the song's about death and destruction and how mankind falls to nuclear warfare.
Yeah.
Yes, the story of love. You start
Right.
off
Right.
right. You start off all soft-hearted and lovey-dovey, and then,
And you throw
well,
nukes at each other.
then it just leads to anger, hate, and nuclear apocalypse. It's just
Yeah.
that's what happens,
Yep.
Listen close, kids.
All
Stay in
stars,
stay in
love and war.
school. Yep, stay in school.
Yeah.
But yeah, then moving on from that, that kind of ties into, since we're all still back in, well, this one was before. This was well, the next song is what? Rise of the Fallen?
I
Yeah.
believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's the one where that was in when I was still back in high school with Mike. And yeah, I'll do it real quickly for anyone who hasn't heard the story. He and I were supposed to do a guitar's finals exam. We were supposed to do a Beatles medley, but we don't like the Beatles, so
Good
we wrote
man. I hate them. I
right.
think it's it. Look,
I don't understand it.
dog, listen, it's been the most unpopular opinion. Like, people look at me like I'm freaking a lunatic. I'm just like, I hate the Beatles. I think their
Right?
music sucks. I don't
They're
under
awful.
like I don't understand it. And maybe it's because I don't understand it. Maybe because it's just like I don't like the music. There's people
You
like,
know
how do
what's
you hate
fun?
the
You know what's
people
fun
that
to
go,
do?
how do you hate the Beatles? I'm just like, because I do, you
Yeah,
know?
right. You know what's fun to do to Beatles fans when they can't understand why you don't like them? Like, but I do like the stuff their drummer wrote.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
like
always
the
they always
look,
say that his is the worst songs.
no, even that. I'm like, the only thing Beatles related that I like is the artwork that their drummer does. Have you ever seen Ringo Starr art?
No.
He does it all
No.
on MS Paint. Like, the dog, like, you want to talk about legit, like, this dude in your free time, Google Ringo Starr art. He even has ringostarart.com, and he does it all in MS Paint. and it looks exactly like what you think it would look like. Like,
See, now you're starting to understand why I troll Beatles fans by saying I love their drummer's music.
right. It's like I wouldn't even say the music. I was like, I love the drummer's art. That's it. It's like I love none of their music. I love his art. That's it.
Yeah, and our guitar teacher, she was a massive hippie too. So you can think and understand what I'm saying by when we got up in front of the class to play the Beatles and we played the first version of Rise of the Fallen, she was pissed. Like she was not expecting that. And she still gave us an A. So that's the cool part about it. We still passed the guitar class. But so yeah, that song is the one that we started back in high school. Um, and yeah, we can keep this ball rolling because this one still is about Mike because his other contribution was Edge of Sanity, which is the next song.
It's where
Um,
I live constantly.
Edge of Sanity, yeah, it's a good place. Um, yeah, this one he contributed, but back then it was a much different song. It was kind of boring to be honest with you. I never really liked playing it because there's only like two or three riffs. It was very repetitive. It was very drawn out and kind of mid-tempo, slow, boring. He was trying to go for a Harvester of Sorrows type approach because he's very big into Metallica.
Well, I was gonna
And
say it's like it sounds like it's just gonna be very thrashy if it's just like very repetitive and just kind of like that. I mean, like, yeah, that is kind of thrash,
yeah,
but
but in the background, in the back scenes, both me and Dimitri. See, Dimitri and I, we didn't know this about each other, but we were playing it differently on our own when we were practicing. I played it totally different. I was always hearing like Deicide's "The Truth Above." When I was hearing, dude, if we played the song like this, that'd be perfect because those riffs totally flow like that. And then Dimitri, he was also doing his own things to this song in the background without telling anyone. So when Mike left and he gave us his, let us use those songs, Dimitri and I were like, all right, so here we're going to play the song like this. We both had different ideas, and Dimitri and I kind of came together and worked our ideas together, and now we have Edge of Sanity, how it is now. It's
fuck yeah.
totally different now.
Yeah, I remember the original too, jamming to it, and then yeah, after Mike left, yeah, and then after Mike left, you guys
It,
changed it,
is that
and then
exactly
you
how it
brought it to the
sounded?
table, and then yeah, it
Yeah.
was yeah,
Sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, but no, I remember the change. I remember you
Yeah.
guys changed it. You said you were working on it, and then finally, I think it was in Dimitri's garage, his aunt and
Mhm.
uncle's. You showed it, you played it, you guys played it,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a lot faster, a
It's
lot
much
better.
better.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is cool
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's really funny to me, like hearing like the stories of like things in their infancy and just like kind of like it's one of like my biggest like it's one of my favorite takeaways from like doing shit like this because not only do I just get to like meet a lot of awesome people such as yourselves, but like I just get to hear I just get to hear the stories, you know, and like hearing how all of this stuff just came to be, all the shit in its infancy. It sounds like Josh, you just da 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 da. It's just like
It was boring.
it
It
sounds
just
hilarious.
droned on and on. It just
It
Yeah,
droned.
sounds it sounds so funny to me, but it's just like I'm glad that, you know, like it makes me wish that I could have been there to hear the shit in its infancy and not just be here for like the final product. Like I've been here a part of the journey for 5 years, but other than that, you know, that's been it. Like
You
I
just got
kind
to
of
hear our wall of sound demo.
that's it. I wish there were like, you know, the secret recording deep tracks that you guys might release later. Who knows? The
Hidden track.
basement
Da da da
tapes.
da da da.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with every band, they always go through their changes. Sometimes those changes stick, sometimes they don't. And I can honestly say I'm glad that the changes we made stuck because going back, even Forever's End was a train wreck for a while. We didn't know what we were doing with Forever's End. At first, that song was supposed to be like a very quick 2.5 minute Slayer type song. Now it's like 8 minutes,
it's eight
because
minutes. Yeah.
We didn't know what to do with it back then. So I think that song was one of the last songs we finished as a band before we broke up. Like we completed finally Forever's End towards the end, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
I
been a
don't
while.
mind. I just don't remember.
So before we keep like moving on, I know we got like two more tracks left. Like,
Mhm.
do you guys? I know we're here in the moment, and the album got released, and we're basking in the you know in that. Do you guys? I don't know. Is there thought to the future? Is there thought to, will you guys maybe work on something else, or like, is there a shot that, hey, like maybe we can actually play live, or maybe we can do like, I don't know, like is there any talk of it? Is there any thought of it? Like,
Well, as far as playing live, I don't see that happening.
yeah,
Um,
No,
we're just too far apart. Um, and you know, Dimitri, he he doesn't want to continue.
no.
Um, we talked about this, and
Just
he's
like
just,
yesterday.
yeah, we brought it up. He finally responded, and he's just too busy. He's got like four kids. His hands are
yeah,
full. He just doesn't have time for it. And then Alex, he's got his own band, Lunar. He's in Helium Prime, and he does, music is his life. He does a lot of drum work for other bands who hire him. So he'd be a gun for hire, basically. So with that said, it's basically would be Josh and I continuing Obsidian. Um,
Like
we've talked.
hiring out or finding other
Yeah,
musicians to
we
fill
yeah,
in the
because
holes.
yeah, we both want to continue to make music. We hope to. It's just a matter of timing. Do we have time? Like right now, for myself, I mean, yeah, I'm here at this interview, but the job that I have and family life, like I don't have time for anything else. It's
yeah.
hard. Not to say that it's not going to happen. I want it to happen. I want to keep making music with this. This is the only outlet I have for music. I want to continue this. I want to have at least a sophomore album, a follow up of some sort. So that's right now, that's what I want. I know that's what Josh wants too. So that's what we're going to work on. So we're just kind of trying to figure things out. I know Josh has like some material, whatever. So it's like we just got to try and map it out, if you will.
Yeah,
So yeah, the band itself, as far as like the existence, it's going to continue. Um, we're going to try and make this work in any way we can, but the goal is to come out with another CD. That's the
I
goal.
got you.
Yeah,
Well, I look, it's a great goal to have, but like I totally understand like everything else you guys are saying. I mean, you
yeah,
know, I mean, I'm 31, and like even for me, there's a lot of things where I'm just like, well, I'm not getting any younger. Uh,
right.
and you know, it's the same for you guys. And I don't have like kids or anything, but it's just like, I got my normal adult responsibilities. Like I love this, metal for the masses and everything, but it's like I also have my normal, my normal 9 to 5, you know, this isn't the thing that pays my bills.
Right.
I gotta do that. And, I gotta adult, you guys gotta adult, we all gotta, us three, us men, like, we gotta men up and do the man responsibilities,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
not to sound sexist saying that, but you know what? Get over it.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. But no, I totally understand it. It's just one of those things, and life happens. But
Yeah,
life also finds a way. I'm sure you guys will figure it out, and if you truly want to make anything happen, you'll find a way to make it happen. That's
yeah.
that's
And that's
that's how I
that's
view
the
it.
my that's my mindset, anyways. It's like we just figure it out.
Yeah. It's not going to happen tomorrow. You know, this album didn't happen overnight, but it
No.
eventually happened, you know.
Yep.
And hopefully, you know, the next one doesn't take as long, but you know, knowing that you guys want to do it, that makes me pretty excited, knowing that potentially we could get a sophomore album to the Obsidian Resurrection. That is great news to hear.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Born from Tyranny, Josh, do you have any input to that before you get up and walk away?
No, my chair is sinking. This chair
Oh.
is messing up on me.
I was like, damn, that was the worst timing of it.
No, this
It's
chair
just
started
like, all right,
messing.
I'm gonna head out.
This chair started messing up on me last night when I was watching TV. I was like, "Why is my TV getting higher?" And oh, I'm getting lower. Um, yeah, it's pretty much exactly what Danny says. It's going to be something. I mean, when we reformed in 2020, this has always been on our schedule, on our time, no pressure. That's how it's going to remain moving forward because I do have a bunch of new material I'd like to throw at Danny, which I'm actually gonna probably tonight refer to Danny to some videos I made. So, because he's been wanting to hear what I was playing and what I have created to be potential new songs, but it's not going to be anything. We don't want to get anything rushed because we still got to find musicians to plug the holes. You know, some feelers out there for some people that we've been talking to. So we just got to see how it all unfolds. But they also have their own responsibilities and prior engagements. You know, being musicians, they also have bands. So we tell them to focus on their music first. You know, we're in the back burner. You know, don't worry, focus on your music first.
Josh, you can slow down. You sound like you're talking so fast right now.
Am I?
You're talking. You sound like a football coach after a win.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I will try to talk slower. I don't remember where I left off. Yeah, we've got some feelers out there for some musicians to plug the holes in, but it's we're not going to force anything or rush anything because we do want to continue making music and just see where this takes us. You know,
I got you. Hell yeah. Um,
was I
I
really
mean,
speaking that fast?
yeah, you were kind of hyped. You're like, we
Interesting.
got some feelers out there, and it's just like I'm just like I feel like I'm at a sports rally.
Like I
But
totally hyped up.
hell yeah. We're finally at my favorite track on the album, track number 7, Born from Tyranny. Um, I was actually jamming to this track before the interview, actually, just to kind of get a brush up on this. Yeah, I love this track. Um,
That's odd.
it's
That's interesting. What
it's
is it that you like about it?
I really can't put my finger on it, honestly. I love it. It's just like at first when I was like looking at it, I was like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Like what's like I have to check this out. It's a lot of like a lot of the tracks that I listen to from like the band like How to Kitty for the Sky or like a lot of like the other like melodic black metal bands that I love. Like a lot of their tracks are that long. You know, it's like 7 to 10 minutes, sometimes over. But like also like some of my favorite Iron Maiden tracks are are up there now these days. Like the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, that's a 13-minute song. Uh Fucking A, almost every track off of the album A Matter of Life and Death is super fucking long. A Brave New World, very long
Yeah.
album. Um, so it's just like I kind of equate long song, gotta be good. Let me check it out. And it's great. You know, I love the name. I love the instrumental. I love the vocal. I love everything about it. You know, that it's kind of where
Yeah.
I put it. There's nothing really that I can pinpoint is my favorite part about it. It's just from start to finish. It's just my favorite track.
Nice. Well, that song I originally wrote all of. It was originally called This Day to Be My Last. Um, I don't know if I told you this story. I might have, but I'll tell it again. I don't know if I have. But so back in the day, I wrote this song, and it was supposed to be the final song that we wrote because we wanted a set number of tracks for the album, you know? So I had this song that I've been working on, and Nate had just joined the band. So I guess I kind of gave him homework. I wanted him to learn this song, so I wanted to hear how it sounded with guitars, you know? And so he said, okay, yeah, give me a week or so and I'll bang it out, you know? So, okay, cool. So a couple weeks went by. We're at band practice and we're taking a break, you know, because we just went through the whole set and everything. And then Nate just starts playing this song. I don't know what it was, but he just starts playing something. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. It's kind of cool. Then all of a sudden I hear like one of my riffs, and I'm like, wait, what's this? And then I'm like, he chopped up my song, you know? He like he totally like did his own thing with it. I'm like, that's not what I wanted you to do. So we started butting heads about that. But ultimately, as a group, we created the first iteration of that song called This Day to Be My Last. Now, we never truly finished that song. Well, no, we did. Just Alex didn't really care for it. That's what it was. Because when we reformed, Alex spoke out his concerns. He just didn't really care for that song, how it flowed. Because it was kind of haphazard. Because we all kind of disjointed, tried to complete it because we wanted to play it at our next
Yeah, it was
at
a
our
bit
next.
choppy.
So yeah, it was kind of choppy. Lots of stop and go areas. But we wanted to play it at our next show, and we had no idea it was going to be our last show. And just kind of fitting because the song was called This Day to Be My Last. But anyways, so fast forward, uh Nate also still didn't care for that song, so we rewrote it again as a group. And then also, I guess I'm the only member that liked the title This Day to Be My Last, but no one else did, so they changed it. And it's a line from the lyrics that I wrote because it's based on a book called The Crimson Legion, a Dungeons and Dragons Dark Sun campaign setting based on the character Rikus. Um, we Dimitri and I just kind of grabbed that line and just the title of the song, "Born from Tyranny." It's about a character named Rikus who he was born a slave, and slaves were forced into the gladiatorial arenas to fight for the elite's entertainment. But through his travels from gladiatorial arena to arena to arena, he met people who were like, bro, you're not a slave, you're actual royalty. You're the king's son, you're the bastard son. Because the king had an affair with his mom, killed her, and then put him into the arena hoping he would die to erase that, you know? But through his journeys, he found out, this king did that with several other people, and he possibly had some siblings. So through his journeys of liberating the slaves and trying to take back the throne, he was trying to find his siblings. And so that's the story of Born from Tyranny. It's based off a book called Crimson Legion. And I'm a huge nerd. I like Dungeons and Dragons. That's what it's based on.
Well, there you go. That's I guess I mean I play Magic the Gathering, so it's just kind of like that sounds Boros as fuck right there. Which I don't know if you know what Boros is. Boros is it's the color combination of white and red.
Yeah.
And a lot of their creatures are like soldiers and uh
We play Magic the Gathering too.
okay. So it's like they have cards like Assemble the Legion and like, the
Yeah.
Aegis of. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, you get it. It sounds Boros as fuck to me. But I'm
I
more of
never,
a
I
Dimir.
never, I never saw that, but now that you mention it, I see it.
Yeah, I'm more of a Dimir player. I like, making shady deals and kind of being Emperor Palpatine about my play style when I play Magic. But yeah, no, kind of I've only played one campaign of Dungeons and Dragons, and that was Strahd, I think it was, The Curse of Strahd, the
Shark
vampire.
Von Zerovich from Ravenloft.
Yeah, that one. But
Yeah.
yep, that one. I I remember
Is
being a
God
part.
shining down on you? There's like a huge light on you now.
Oh no, this is the new and improved lighting setup that I have.
Oh, okay.
I actually went out and got like a one of those podcast lighting fixtures because everybody was telling me how bad my lighting was. I was like, guys, I was telling this to Danny. I was like, guys,
Mhm.
I'm sorry that it's just me that does this and that I want to bring you guys awesome bands and awesome content and that sometimes being the only person doing things means you're the only person that pays for things and
Yeah.
you also have bills and other things that you got to pay. And
Yeah.
so going out and buying something as simple as a lighting fixture may take a couple years of time
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
you finally get around to doing it.
Yeah,
So
it's not on the radar.
I
it's
just noticed
not.
when you lean forward, your face becomes brighter. I've noticed. And
It's because I'm still not like I mean one I can never sit still so like I'm constantly moving around but like I
same
still
here.
haven't like gotten it in my mind it's like if I keep moving forward it's looking like I am literally the dude getting blinded on your album cover but
Mm.
so yeah I'll kind of hang back here as we finish up but yeah no that campaign for Dungeons and Dragons is the only one I've ever played, but knowing that there's a campaign like that out there, that's pretty cool. I'm actually supposed to start a campaign with one of my other buddies soon, and my character is going to be another bard, but I'm going to side class as a warlock who raises the dead
With his
and
music.
with his music and it's going to be metal as fuck. Like I am literally going to be like my armor is going to be, metal. Uh I'm going to use, metal riffs to raise an army of the dead to do my bidding. It's going to be metal as fuck. It's
I can see it. I can see it.
and you know what? I might call myself Lord Obsidius so that
Hey, that works.
I can resurrect the dead.
Right.
Resurrect the Obsidious.
Yep.
You
But
know, we were at one point we were going to call ourselves when we were thinking, kicking around new band names in 2020. One of them was the Obsidian Nightmare.
I it
Sounds cliche.
Nightmare is like one of those things. It's like when somebody's coming up with like an edgy name, they go like the Death Squad or like something like that. It's like, wow, I wonder who the fucking bad guys are, like in a fucking movie. It's like,
Yeah.
right, the Obsidian Nightmare. It's like, oh man,
What?
I wonder
I
what
didn't think
things
of that. Yeah.
these edge lords are gonna fucking play for me right now. It's like, oh, are you
Right.
guys a ska band? No, you play metal, don't you? Fuck queers, like the Obsidian Nightmare. I'm glad it was the Obsidian Resurrection. It sounds more unique. You know what I mean? It's just like if you put death or like nightmare or like and like I don't know,
Any of those
just
trade marketed words.
right. Like, it's like even Megadeth just as like one of those kind of like even when Megadeth came out, that was just kind of like a name that I'm like, really? Like Megadeth.
Well,
Not
Right.
that's a war term. So
is it? Yeah.
yeah, it
It
means
makes sense.
absolute death.
Right. But at the same time, I mean, like, even in name alone, it's like, yeah, it's a war term. It's like, well, I mean, like, it's not just death. This is mega death, super
Basically,
death,
when we drop the
super
bombs.
mega over death. Like,
Yeah,
it's like, it's
yeah.
just, all right, guys, we can get a little less edgy right here.
My
You know,
stupid chair's making me shrink again.
but moving on, the final track on this album, uh, the Unholy Retribution. So we started with Apocalyptic Prologue, Prophecy's Will, As Darkness Falls, Forever's End, Rise of the Fallen, Edge of Sanity, Born from Tyranny, and Unholy Retribution. Um, I I want to say my first thoughts of this really, it feels like the culmination of everything. We talked about the album artwork. We've kind of we've gone through every track. We've talked about what it is. It's almost like a journey. Um, what what is the unholy retribution? Why is it unholy? What is being, what is the retribution? What is the culmination of this journey?
Well, lyrically, it's about the war between heaven and hell and mankind being caught in the middle. They're warring over our souls, basically. It's like a hypothetical story. And thematically, lyrically, that's what that song's about. Um, musically, do you want to take this one, Danny? I got to fix my share. I keep getting lower and lower.
Yeah. So I think musically, it's a good culmination of the entire album. Um, it kind of brings everything together, I guess. When we were talking about what would be the last song, we always thought Unholy Retribution would be after Born from Tyranny was done and finalized. There is slight discussion about that one being the last track of the album, but I was like, no, it's got to be Unholy because we got to bring it back around to like how, because Born from Tyranny was the last song we made. It's probably the most dynamic, one of the most dynamic songs. But I don't feel like it's a good album ender. Unholy Retribution is the better album ender. And I think we all agree to that. We all know that.
Just has that boom, hit the brakes ending,
Yeah. And like I said, musically, it just brings everything kind of together.
And that's a really interesting thing that you bring up, an album ender, because looking at like how like songs are arranged on albums, I mean, like I feel like that's something people don't really think about. The placement of songs, why they are there, how they
Yeah,
how
there's
why they are in the formation that they are. I mean,
yeah,
like
and there's a
some sorry to keep cutting you off.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that for our CD, there's each song is there for a reason.
Right.
Like it just it's I
the
mean,
ebb
yeah,
and
maybe
flow.
lyrically they don't may not flow together, but musically it kind of does.
Right.
And
It's kind of like I'll go back to like Misfits' Famous Monsters, because like that's just an album that comes to mind when you're listening to it. It has an album opener much like yours does. It's called Kong at the Gates, and it flows directly into, like, that song ends, this song begins, uh the Forbidden Zone. And that's tracks 1 and 2, Kong at the Gates and then Forbidden Zone. But it's boom boom, and like, those are blatant examples of why they're placed the way they are, because if they were in any other formation, it wouldn't make sense. But
right,
having tracks is like, you have album openers, you have album closers. I feel like normal people don't get it. Like, I feel like art, like, more creative people, I feel like we understand why these things appear the way they are. We understand why they you know we understand the method to our madness here. you know
right,
um but I feel like the importance of understanding why everything is placed the way it is, you know how you said it can't end with Born from Tyranny. That just doesn't sound like it belongs at the end. That
no, exactly,
this can't be the way that the album fades out. You know what I mean?
right,
Some albums have an ending that fades out. Some albums have just a cold, boom, it's done. But you have to, that even that takes some level of artistic skill at, which song is going to start us off, is going to be our first foot forward, and which song is going to be, our final step.
right.
That takes it takes a lot, you know.
Yeah,
It's
Unholy Retribution definitely has a presentation feel to it from beginning to end. It feels more composed and it feels that like so we went with As Darkness Falls for the song that we released first because we feel it gave the whole vibe of what the song or what the band's about. But I think Unholy Retribution is a good runner up because that one we dabble literally in all genres and all styling, and it kind of has a lot of movements. It's like Rise of the Fallen has a lot of movements and change ups, but so does Unholy Retribution, but it's just not as long, so it's more accessible because a lot of people can't sit there and listen to a 12 or 13-minute song like Rise of the Fallen. But then there's Unholy
Especially
Retribution.
nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Unholy Retribution, it has that, it, like Danny says, it has that ending vibe, and especially it lending to that ending of the album vibe is that hit the brakes moment at the end of the song, and where it just comes to a stop and it goes right back to Apocalyptic Prologue. It just feels like you can loop the album, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And it's just like even you, Josh, even you hit another great point, the attention span that people fucking have these days. It I don't know really how to word this, but it's just like it takes a very it takes a good amount of risk to release a song that's even Born from Tyranny, like 10 minutes long. Like it takes a lot of risk these days to release something like that. And that's why I love the melodic scene a lot, because a lot of the stuff in that scene is very long. Uh I love the sounds that people come up with. I just love the different, because like not everything sounds the same, but also it's like you get so much more of I don't really know how to say it. It's like a gift that just keeps giving,
Yeah.
because it can start off on one tempo and then dramatically change to a different tempo and then fade back into the original tempo. But that's like from minute 1 to minute 9, you know.
And
Uh
kind of like piggybacking on what you said about being risky releasing long songs. I mean, this is a long album. Like
exactly.
it's a minute. It's an hour and 6 seconds, or it's an hour and 6 minutes. So I
Had to
know
throw that
numbers.
6 seconds in there.
I know numbers. Um, I've yeah, it's an hour and 6 minutes long. We were kind of wondering if that was too long at one point. Like, that's a lot of music for
It
people to
is.
digest. But we're like, you know what? This is all our music. We're not going to change it. We got to get it
Well,
out there.
and another thing is it's just like, even if it is too much for somebody to digest, this has been something that you guys have been working on for like 25 fucking years. Fuck it,
Yeah,
dude. Just fuck it. Release
just
it. Throw it
put
out there.
all the cards
Right.
on the table. Yeah,
Right. Like, it's just like, it's not your fault that you guys have essentially in 8 tracks, 25 years of, you know, artistic creativity that you guys have been working on. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's really just the fault of modern society and these fuckers right here. This is my phone. Uh that has given mankind such low attention spans. Everything's been confined to like 60-second little TikTok videos, or fucking like when Vine started, or Snapchats or Instagrams or Facebook videos or YouTube shorts. Like, it's not, anybody else's fault but ourselves that we put ourselves in this, technological scape where the downside to it is people can't pay attention for very long.
Right.
Everything has to be condensed, everything has to be shortened, everything has to be, you know, 5 seconds or less, or else people get disinterested. And
hmm
it really takes skill to be able to sit and listen to something for that long, but it also takes a tremendous amount of risk to put out something that long. But at the same time, the level of go fuck yourself, we don't care, to just put this out here, an hour and 6 minutes long today. I mean, I want to take a look just real fast. Because not for nothing, I've been listening to the new Harakiri for the Sky album, Scorched Earth, that just came out. It literally dropped Friday. I've been listening to it all fucking weekend. To put that into perspective, that's an hour and 7 minutes long, and
Oh,
it's
yes.
it's also 8 tracks. So I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are right up there with, the amount of time of a modern day melodic black metal album. So
Well, there's the cool thing is that on my end, I can see what's going on with our music. You can look at the meta information from Spotify and our Bandcamp. No one skips our songs because you can see where people skip. Everyone's listening to the entire songs, which is
right,
really cool.
which I'm gonna go back because I've already said it before. It's a testament to what I said before. You guys have put something out that has soul, has, you know, has a pulse, you know,
Yeah.
and knowing that, I mean, Josh, I've been seeing you've been making a lot of rounds on like different shows and stuff like that, talking about the album and talking about how long it's taken to do this kind of stuff, and it's a story that people can can relate to. You know what I mean? It's not just like the average, we're a band and we made an album and people like it. It's just like, no, it's like, dog, this took 25 fucking years of my life to
Yeah.
to put together, you know? This took on and off, ups and downs, high point, low point, and here I am now. Here we all are. We finally fucking got together. We did it. Some people aren't going to stick around after this, and me and Danny, we're going to be here chugging along, doing what we can. But this is finally done. We scaled Mount Everest. We got to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. We sailed around Cape Horn. We did it.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where we could have just thrown in the towel and said, you know what, screw it, we can't do this, it's not going to happen. But we stuck to our guns and we got it out there. And there's another podcast that reviewed our album the other day I didn't even know about. I just stumbled upon them, and they messaged me saying, "Hey, we reviewed your album. If you want to check it out." And they said something that was really interesting to me too. They said that when they listened to the album, they didn't realize that they had just sat through an hour and 6 minutes. They said because all the music was so powerful and emotional, and there's something interesting always going on that every song just felt like
Yeah.
it whizzed by. They said they said that the album felt like it only lasted 15 minutes to them, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's really interesting.
And that's another thing. I mean, like, it takes I'm just going to keep harping on, like, it takes a tremendous level of skill to be able to do something like that, to make an
Boring.
hour and 6 minutes not boring, not long, to make it feel like 15 minutes, to make it like, to say it not in a way that sounds negative, to make it not feel like this took 25 years of your life to make. But hearing the full story of it, it's, I feel like just hearing the story of this took us 25 years. It's that's the more incredible part to me, you know. And that's why I've like, I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very happy that I've gotten to sit down and kind of be a part of this journey for not 25 years, but just a mere 5 years. Kind of have you guys here on the show, and just to talk about this in whatever detail we've been able to talk about it over the 5 years. Because I remember the first time it was, we got these 3 songs. We can only talk about these. There's
Yeah,
more, but we can't talk about it. Uh, hey, we're back. Uh,
but we're not.
but hey, we're back. We're writing some stuff, but I can't talk about it. Hey, we're back. The album's coming out. Can't talk about it. Hey, I'm back. There's a track coming out, but I can't talk about anything else. And hey, we're back. It's for realsies this time. The album's out. Now we can talk about it. But
Mhm.
like
You're
that's literally how it's been.
you're our
Hmm.
Papa podcast.
Absolutely. It's just like bang. All right. I remember the one where it was like, hey, we're back, but we can't talk about anything. I remember in the back of my mind being like, Josh,
I felt so bad because I saw the look on your face when I said that. I was
I was
like,
like,
man,
Josh,
he
so
wants
what
to
are
punch me through his screen right now.
I'm like, Josh, I get that, but if we can't talk about anything,
Why are you here?
what are we gonna do here? Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna talk to you about? How am I gonna
We
fill time? Like, what do I
we talked
do?
we talked a lot about Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering that night. Oh, and cigarettes. I remember you were talking about you're quitting smoking at that time.
Yep, that never happened.
We all got our
It happened.
vices.
It happened for a little bit, and then it started back up, and then it's just I don't know.
We all got our vices.
Listen, dude, I can't raw dog life. I don't know how people do it.
I don't think they do. Everyone has a
I don't
vice.
drink. I don't drink. That's just that. That's one good thing. I think I've forsworn alcohol to a large degree, starting this year. I might
That's a good
drink
way of
like
putting it.
I might only drink like twice a year. Like probably mainly being like Christmas Eve. But other than that, it's just been I drank so much in my 20s that and like I wasn't like casually drinking. I wasn't an alcoholic, but it's just like I just drank hard. I didn't drink beer. I never acquired a taste for beer. I acquired a terrible taste for liquor. And like I wouldn't like sip whiskey. I would go to the bar and get Four Horsemen's, and that's, Jack Jameson, Jim Beam, Johnny Walker in a shot. And
Oh,
and and it's like a quarter shot of each. Uh
right.
and like I would like just drink those and like have like a Jack and Coke as like the ender to it. And that was it. And like I just did that for so long that it's just like you lose the taste after a while. It just loses its appeal. And I also just never liked the feeling of being drunk. I never liked the feeling of not being in control of what I was doing. Um, it's just not a fun feeling. And
Yeah.
so like I had slowed down tremendously over the past couple years. Just after this year, I was just kind of like, I just don't think that I just want to do anything alcohol related at all. I like being sober. Somebody hands me a drink, I just kind of like put it down and just kind of leave it there and pretend like it's not mine. Somebody else just picks it up. Uh,
Right.
Yeah.
but like you said, we still all have our vices. Like, I play my bass guitar. I have a smoke here and there because the normal 9 to 5s, man, you need something.
Yeah.
You can't just raw dog it. There's people that do, and I don't know how they operate. I think they're NPCs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I definitely can say, guys, that this is definitely probably one of the best accomplishments so far that I've gotten to listen to this year. Um, Another one, I've a couple of one of the other bands that I've been following for a while. They just released their first album, and it to kind of coincide with the same feeling that I have for you guys. I have that same feeling for them, and for them it hasn't taken 25 years, but it's just like it's their first step towards something.
Right.
It's another band that I've sat down and talked with multiple times. And for you guys, like, we have our history, we do that stuff. It's feeling proud for your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's being
Exactly.
extremely happy for and seeing the success of people
That you
that
care about.
that right. So it's just like from me to you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for just kind of being and wanting to come back multiple times and either talk about as what little as you can or talk about absolutely nothing and waste my time And no, I'm kidding. And it's awesome, man. And anything down the line, anything that happens in the future that you guys just want to come on, if anything happens at all, just I'm glad that you guys always think of me and keep me in the loop on what's going on with the band. Just congratulations, you guys deserve it, and I hope you guys make all your money back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. And there is that glimmer of hope now. There is some potential new stuff. We just gotta see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I had that. Those are my closing statements there. Do you guys have anything that you guys do you feel like we touched upon anything? You guys have any closing statements? Because I feel like we got it.
Yeah, I think we got it. I just appreciate you having us on again, man.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yeah.
It's always my pleasure. I say it all the time, man. I'm just some prick on the internet. So the fact that anybody gives a shit to come on and shoot the breeze with me, I'm just some asshole that sits here in New Jersey and screams into the computer about how much I hate Spotify, and I
Right.
wish that more of these bands got noticed. That's kind of my whole that's my shtick at the end of the night.
We still have to do our Why Spotify Sucks Part 3.
Part 3. Well, you know what? It certain people got to be there, and
Yeah.
we gotta figure all of this shit out. So
Yeah.
that's
To be continued.
To be continued. All righty, gentlemen. I think we got everything here. Again, a massive congratulations, and thank you for keeping me a part of the journey.
One thing I do want to
Absolutely.
say before we cut it, I'm noticing as of today, I'm getting a lot of our fans messaging us about the shipping cost for our album. You can buy it digitally. It's $5 cheaper, you know.
That's what I did. But I bought it digitally
Yeah.
twice. I bought it on Bandcamp and I bought it on iTunes.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, it's just I was just like, fuck it, because my computer was doing something weird where it wasn't allowing me to download it off of the Bandcamp, and it was only happening for like that night. So I was like, well, fuck it, I need to play new stuff, so I'll just download it on off of iTunes. And I'm like, fuck it. I was even talking about it on my show. I was like, see, I'm such a good friend that I paid my friends twice.
Well, thank you twice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Because
buddy.
we're on DistroKid and we get people saying they bought our stuff on Apple. Now you're saying iTunes. I don't know when I'm gonna see that on our DistroKid. I don't know. They take forever. They
Oh,
don't want to
well,
pay artists.
no, they don't. But yeah, Spotify's the worst. I don't
Yeah.
care what the chart says. I don't care that YouTube's technically at the bottom of the list. Spotify sucks. If you use it, I don't care how much you want to tell me it's for exposure. You're selling out.
Yeah.
But anyway, gentlemen, again, I can say it a million times. Congratulations. You guys deserve it.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.